What's the dumbest thing you've ever heard someone say? I remarked that it's odd that we are rabbits with eggs for Easter. I jokingly said we should make it an Easter platypus because unlike rabbits they lay eggs. Then someone overheard this and said, wait, no, rabbits do lay eggs. This turned into a 2-minute argument over whether or not rabbits lay eggs. And then when she finally accepted that she was wrong, she was so irritated that she asked all of her coworkers if they thought the same as her. To the best of my knowledge, she's the only one. It's been proven that if you dream about falling and hit the ground in your dream, you will die in your sleep. Yeah, if someone dies in their sleep, how do you know what they were dreaming? It's been proven by the internet though. Very credible. Was it in Pirates of the Caribbean they had a line like, I'm just asking, if there were no survivors, how do you know what happened? I've had that dream. Survived like a boss. Only bad thing is I fell out of bed on impact. It's not cheating if you don't love the person. I felt the pain from here. My best friend from high school actually believed that. I believe her military boyfriend taught it to her. I guess if they're both on the same page, congrats. I don't want to know which person was the unloved one. Work at a hotel. Guest asks why there was no 4th of July parade or any fireworks in town. We were in Australia. Did they try to pay their bill in American dollars instead of Australian dollars? My ex worked on Sydney Harbour cruises back in 1988. Australia's bicentennial year. She had a boat full of USA tourists who she described as absolutely polite, kind and tipped well. But one did ask, how often do you have these bicentennials? They're really neat. Blue fire is cold. Okay, put your hand in it. I thought that too. Almost died in the nether. A few years ago leading up to the Great American Eclipse, a coworker overheard us discussing it and said, y'all don't actually believe in that, do you? I figured he misunderstood whatever we were talking about and thought we were talking about mysticism or something regarding the eclipse, but no, he followed up with, don't you know if the moon went into the sun it would melt? That's why the eclipse can't be real. I genuinely felt like humanity should probably start over from scratch after that. My mom frantically called me one day and said she had seen a piece of the sun fall off while taking a picture of the sky. She was incredibly adamant that it was indeed real and that the picture would prove it. It was just a glare. No offense, but does your mom by chance happen to live in a cave? That chickens have no brains. Not that they are stupid. That a chicken literally does not have a brain. I had a neighbor who was sharing a similar theory about geckos after performing the very scientific procedure of ripping one open with pliers. My sister panicked whilst on a plane and asked if she could open a window as she was feeling really hot. The guy in the seats across from her lost it. It made his day. I saw a drunk German woman fiddling with the airplane door because she wanted to have a smoke outside. When I was like 13, I told my friend that there was such a thing as a liger. They had successfully mated a lion and a tiger. His response, you idiot. Tigers are female lions. We took the argument to his mother to settle it. She took his side. There are so many people that knows nothing about lions and tigers. It's unbelievable. Edit. I read the sentence again and I'm now convinced that I'm retarded. Edit 2. Some grammar mistakes. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Was WW2 the cold one or the Asian one? Now I get confused. Cold at the start, Asian at the end. You have vertigo? Isn't vertigo that place where the planes get lost? No, that's where'd it go? Sorry for the confusion. How did they get vertigo out of the Bermuda Triangle? A few years ago I got a job offer in Japan and decided to take it. Some friends from my then office threw me a farewell party. The girlfriend of one of my coworkers came along and told me that she'd always wanted to go to Japan, and that her number one thing to do there would be to take a camel ride. My coworker and I just looked at her to see if she'd explain more. Maybe there was a camel cafe she'd heard about or something. But no. She just honestly thought camels were a common mode of transportation in Japan. And that Japan was the capital of Australia. We share a time zone, but that's about it. China is its own continent because the people who live there are called Chinese. And we are Oklahomans. Did I miss the memo where we became a continent? Most Oklahomans can be confused for continents. How do they know which moon to put out? They store them in order. But if they get them mixed up, you just check which one they used yesterday and use the next one. What a dummy. Who's they and where are the other moons? Do they mean like half moon, full moon, etc.? Cold sweat smile. Some girl once told me that it was impossible for me to be Vietnamese. BC Vietnam was a war and not a country. This happened while in college. SMH. You should have answered with, "You're right. I must be French or Indian." Asia was a country in China. This reminds me of a show that used to come on A&E in the early 2000s. It was about ancient civilizations, may have been hosted by Bill Curtis. But I'm hazy on the memory of that. One episode was about ancient Egypt and the narrator said, "Egypt, which is located next to Africa." I'll never forget it because me and my GF at the time were on the phone and she heard that part too. It became an inside joke between us. At a sushi place in Dallas, a large middle-aged man at another table shouted, "God d those Japs don't F around with their guacamole." Quote, "I remember the first time I had sushi rolls with wasabi. I spread it like guacamole. You couldn't even see the rice underneath. The whole restaurant got a good laugh out of my misery. The stupid part, I was warned. Oh, my Lord. Thank you for the giggle." Snort. I love me some Texas. But some of my fellow citizens aren't exactly sophisticated. There are three types of Asians: Chinese, Japanese and Asians. I don't know why the repeating of Asians makes me laugh so much. Hank Hill voice. So are ya Chinese or Japanese?